Peter is an engineer by profession. He has a beautiful wife and cute daughter. His eldest daughter Hannah is currently working as an elevator operator. One night, an unidentified object emitting light fell, going straight to the city. The surrounding people saw this and were curious to see. While not understanding what was going on, a woman was suddenly shot down right on the spot where the official massacre began. The rain of bomb and bullets continuously rained down, turning the whole place into ruins. Peter suddenly woke up and realized that everything that had just happened was just a nightmare. And his husband were constantly haunted by his wife Alice, who advised him to go see his doctor because she was very upset and about to go crazy from lack of sleep. But Peter disagreed and said he could handle it himself the next day. The male lead decided to get off work early to take his family to the pier to eat and drink, having fun, but at work, he looked at his right hand and suddenly had hallucinations. It wasn't until the machine next to him caught fire that he regained his composure. The hairy-mouthed boss saw this and immediately advised Peter, "Let go to clinic to treat insomnia and stress." But he said he's fine and doesn't want to go to the doctor. He asked for leave early one day, but when he was about to leave, the light bulb at work suddenly flickered and couldn't work. After explaining, Peter suddenly found himself appearing in another place. On the news, talking about aliens who didn't talk much and directly attacked the earth like crazy because he was so scared that Peter started. He ran away and saw his wife sitting trembling in the corner of the stairs. At this moment he woke up groggily on the floor again. Everything was still just a nightmare. Peter hurriedly ran home and it was already dark outside. He asked people about the bright spots in the sky. Did anyone see it? But they all shook their heads and saw nothing. So he decided to buy a telescope to prove what he saw was true. However, his wife and the two princesses at home were extremely depressed because he had broken his promise that night. In his sleep, Peter continued to see his youngest daughter, Megan, crying bitterly on a desolate street corner. So the next day, he decided Alice was about to go to the hospital to check up. After hearing this, she became very happy. If this continued, not only Peter but the whole family would go crazy. While waiting, the man next to him suddenly asked about the male lead dream. Then he said that something is coming near the earth and humanity is not alone, but they don't want us to know what is coming, so this person also has similar dreams. Peter looked up at the wall and saw a naturally moving picture of a massacre scene again occurring on the blue planet being attacked by extraterrestrial forces, causing humanity to sink into pain and despair. At that time, the male protagonist and his wife and colleagues held guns and went down the street to protect the last survivors. Peter believed that what he saw was a sign of the impending disaster. He returned home and told this story with his wife, but Alice didn't believe it and angrily turned around and left. That night, Alice held a small party with close friend at home. However, Peter did not participate but used a telescope to look at the sky to observe. But apart from the beautiful sparking stars, nothing happened. And as his wife and colleagues held guns and went down the street to protect the last survivors, Peter believed that what he saw was a sign of the impending disaster. He returned home and told this story with his wife, but Alice didn't believe it and angrily turned around and left. That night, Alice held a small party with close friend at home. However, Peter did not participate but used a telescope to look at the sky to observe. But apart from the beautiful sparking stars, nothing happened. The table, he stopped and intended to harm her at a dangerous moment. Peter immediately appeared and rushed to fight with him, but very quickly he was restrained by him. Seeing this, Alice immediately picked up the stick and hit the alien's head, causing him to collapse and lose consciousness. Peter took the weapon, the enemy weapon, and quickly took their family to leave. In the hallway, they met their friend again. The whole group carefully went out to the balcony to observe the situation. At this time, the alien spaceship was still continuously sweeping the area. Before the group of people living on the other side could do anything, they launched missiles and killed them on the spot. Seeing this, everyone decided to go down by the elevator outside, but the elevator was broken, so they had to go down just a little way. Climbing back inside after checking the structure of the alien's weapon, they discovered that their technology is similar to Earth. The only difference is that there is more biological technology. Surely learning this means only its owner. The only person who can be used is a skilled engineer. So this is not a big deal for Peter. He plans to bring everyone to his company because there is a spacious and solid space like a castle. The fortress was just when everyone was still discussing how to overcome the invaders when they were suddenly attacked. His friend family was killed on the spot and the male entire family was chased down by them. Fortunately, Peter successfully unlocked the biotechnology of the alien gun and was able to defeat the three approaching men. While leading his wife and two daughters to leave the building, he discovered that there was a group of people were captured by those alien creatures, but they did not take them hostage, but massacred them on the spot. At this moment, they were suddenly there ambushed by a few armed people. But this group of people also before he could celebrate the enemy spaceship. immediately sent him to the altar to watch the naked chicken. The spaceship continued to massacre Peter family and had to jump into the underground sewer to avoid being detected by it. They intended to follow this road to get to the company. But before they could leave, the enemy arrived. The spaceship immediately released a rain of bullets below, seriously injuring Alice. Peter had to help her slowly walk forward. On the other hand, the knocked-out alien woke up. He detected the location of the male lead family through the gun and started chasing them here because Alice was too seriously injured to continue in the heat of death. She urged Peter to fight with all his might to protect his children. At that moment, the alien chased them from both sides and immediately rushed into hand-to-hand combat. Peter grabbed a rock and repeatedly hit him in the head, causing his protective guard to be broken. Then, holding a gun to control the opponent, he angrily shouted and asked why he was here. Why did he want to harm his family? He felt curious because his hat was broken, protected but still not dead, not even needing an oxygen tank when attacking another planet. At this time, the alien slowly took off his helmet and turned out to be a quite handsome young man with a completely perfect face, like Earthing. This could also be some terrorist organization pretending to be aliens to attack foreign countries. But Peter currently has absolutely no time to think about this. He used a gun to threaten, and asked the young man to carry Alice to the factory. Although he asked a lot, the other person did not open his mouth to say a word. He went to the factory, called someone to open the door, and suddenly a group of armed soldiers rushed out, was about to shoot, but fortunately, the hairy-mouthed boss promptly ran to stop it. But when they saw that young alien, the people here not surprised at all. At this moment, there were countless spaceships in the sky. The boats were rushing in. There was no time to watch anymore. Everyone immediately ran inside and closed the door. Alice was quickly taken to the emergency table, but instead of surgery, they used electric shock directly into the wood, causing her body to convulse continuously. Witnessing this scene, Peter was heartbroken and asked to stop. Seeing this, the boss immediately went to her side to comfort them. They knew what they were doing, so don't worry too much, just think of the children. It's better then. He asked everyone to move to an abandoned underground prison where a weapon to defend themselves and is very safe because no one can find it. Most importantly, that place will become human resistance base. At this time the basement was attacked by the enemy, so everyone had to evacuate it immediately. Later, Alice was diagnosed with 2 serious injuries and could not survive, and the alien guy went directly, being dragged to the firing aquad. He finally opened his mouth and said he could save Alice, but no one believed that a corpse could be revived. This young man continued to say that he had learned a lot about the body. Human biology should be able to completely cure Alice. After a moment of thinking, Peter decided to let his 2 daughters and everyone leave first while he would stay with the alien youth to find a way to save his wife. He took Alice to the operating table and then directly used a knife to cut into the wound. Peter impatiently asked what was going on. The other person then bewilderedly asked again. He really didn't know what his body was. Why now everything began to become clear. Everything that Peter knew from school until now has been completely reversed. Alice is a synthetic character, so there needs to be an alternative source of energy to save her life, and this energy will be taken from Peter's enemy source under the guidance of aliens. Peter cut open his chest inside like a perfect machine. Then the other young man connected the male protagonist and his wife, using a cable. This process caused Peter to faint, then a series of immediately gradually appeared. He found himself standing in another place. It turned out that the things the male protagonist had dreamed about before were all memories, and all humans on this earth are robots. Humanity has achieved great achievement in artificial intelligence and put it into lifeless machines. But later these robots can create their own. 50 years ago, people did not want to be controlled by artificial intelligence, so they stood up to protect. As a result, a large-scale massacre occurred. Humans could not fight back, can accept defeat. Those who survived all boarded spaceship to leave Earth and go to Mars to settle. Since then, the blue planet belonged to the robot side. After the war, most robots chose to erase their memories and set up their lives. Reset new memories for yourself. Peter, Alice, and her 2 daughters accidentally became a family. People did not want to be controlled by artificial intelligence, so they stood up to protect. As a result, a large-scale massacre occurred. Humans could not fight back, can accept defeat. Those who survived all boarded spaceship to leave Earth and go to Mars to settle. Since then, the blue planet belonged to the robot side. After the war, most robots chose to erase their memories and set up their lives. Reset new memories for yourself. Peter, Alice, and her 2 daughters accidentally became a family. Grandparents through stories or drawing, even the way robot chased people away. Humanity on Mars is called those robot are monster, so he only knew that he came here to eliminate evil. But after going through everything, he changed his mind that robot also have emotions and that family is not something that he volunteered to go to Earth to do it. Not long after Alice woke up, she also remembered all the events in her memories. Elsewhere, synthetic robots were panicked and running to the subway to evacuate Peter and Alice. Mike and then ran together towards the ship. At this time, the human army had punched a hole into the tunnel, They stood from above and started firing wildly, but the robot side was not inferior. Both sides continued to eat each other. No one was willing to give in. However, the huge number of humans broke through the door and rushed inside. Faced with humanity's stormy attack, the robot could only run back, and tried to support other people to get on the train. Just as the train was moving, Peter and Alice came running and saw that his boss had to stop the train despite the angry group of people behind them. They broke the door and rushed in. Peter's family still hugged each other to reunite to feel emotional. Then everyone quickly ran to the train to leave when the human side chased them and were immediately shot dead by a machine gun emoluments on the train. The boss realized that Peter had recovered. He said that before, only a few leaders could retain memories to prevent human from attacking. But this time it will be different. We won't do that again. He wanted to retain the memories of tragic day, close to day for the robot because this isn't over yet. Later the train mover out of the tunnel, Peter and his family look through the window with a thoughtful look on their face that can tell the robot had been beaten by the humans. Failed, so they were forced to move the underground base and destroy the bridge and entrance. In the future, they will once again go up and retake it, calling it their homeland. Here comes the virtual movie Malada, is the end, although there are many details that are not very reasonable. The director also gave a very clear message: if people do not know to control the technology they create, they can harmed by the same things that technology destroy.